Welcome to episode 97 of Instant Expertise Marketing. Hopefully by now you realize that we are in the back half of an 8-part mini-series with real examples of how sales and marketing teams can use AI to double productivity and get more work done faster, easier, and oftentimes better. I'm Yvette Brown, co-founder of XPROMOS. I became an entrepreneur at 23 by starting a sales promotion agency with my then 29-year-old business partner, Sherry Nomady. Sherry and I these days are using generative AI every single day, and we are continuing to urge all knowledge workers to prioritize upskilling on like your job depended on it, because it really does. And if you are looking for a New Year's resolution, put this on your list. It is the thing that is going to be required sooner rather than later. It's already here. Make this a priority.
Great idea, Yvette. And I'm Sherry Nomady. And if you've been listening for a while, you know that Yvette and I approach business from opposite ends of the spectrum. And yet we always manage to come to the same conclusions about how we will help our clients succeed. And we are again focused on sales teams and what they can do with AI to drive productivity.
And just if you're following along, there's a lot of numbers sort of flying around, but this is part 5 of an 8-part mini-series. Our odd numbers in this series are sales examples, and that's what you're going to see today.
In each episode, we are going to demonstrate how the standard AI models can help you double productivity, probably even more than double. But whether you're a sales and marketing executive or a frontline worker, you will see the productivity gains.
And if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to clearly see our demos as we work through them on ChatGPT. And if you're listening, we promise we'll do our best to be clear about what we're doing so you can follow along.
And with that, Yvette, let's get going.
That sounds awesome, Sherry. I'm really excited about what to show today. It might be a little bit more clear if you're going to watch this on the video, but I think you'll get the gist of it either way. One of the things that we really realized as we were going through and upskilling on AI ourselves and becoming black belt certified is that that AI is now allowing us to do something that has always been the sort of the holy grail for sales and marketing, which is personalization at scale. We all know that the more personalized you can make your message to your prospect, the more likely you are to get them to take note of you and, ultimately, hopefully work with you. And that's been really hard to do with intention, because, segmenting. Every time you segment, it takes more of an effort and you've got more campaigns to track and all that type of thing. On the sales side of it, like we're talking about today, it takes time to customize and personalize messages with intention, and that those more meaningful ones tend to do better with your prospects, but they take time. Well, this is one of the magic things that we can do with today's AI, is to make that happen faster and easier so that you can actually, like I said, personalize at scale, which is pretty magical. So we're going to show you a really great example of that right now. I'm going to go into my AI, and what I've got here is actually something. It's a GPT, which is like a repeatable task that was created inside of with our AI Transformation Council. And so this is something, though, that is very easy to do, especially if you have expertise in what the thing is that you're doing. And this is the thing, like I said, that when you go through our training, you actually learn in basically you start learning it in the green belt. But the idea is that you think about the way that you currently do a task, because again, as we've said, we're all about having AI overcome an obstacle and help you get to the solution of a problem faster. Like, that's kind of it in a nutshell. So in this case, you already know how to do this if you're, an agency person, but when you help teach the AI to do this for you or with you, you can get to the results a lot faster than if you do them yourself. So in this case, it's a long way of saying this is a GPT that we've built that basically walks through the process. We're going to ask it to create an outbound nurture sequence, which of course is really important when you're on the sales side and in marketing as well, depending on your role. So it's starting out and it's just asking me, hey, what product are you selling? What kind of results do you want your customer to achieve? And what's the role of the person that you're selling to, right? So we're going to say, I sell B2B. We're going to call it, let's do fintech today. Fintech software to mid-sized packaged goods companies. Okay, so as you can see, packaged goods companies so that they can increase, what do we want to say, Sherry? Cash flow, right? So in this case, this is basically the equivalent of a value proposition statement. That's all I'm giving it right now. And we're going to see how this rolls. What you're going to see if you're watching along is that basically it's going to go through the paces like an agency would do. And the first thing that an agency would do is we're going to turn this value prop over to the the psychology experts, right? And so they're going to create a profile for us. And remember, this one line is all I've given it. And in this case, they are going to first talk about the dreams of these customers, right? They want to optimize cash flow, but what else does that mean? They want to reduce financial stress. They're going to improve their profit margins. They want to future-proof their business. Sorry, for those of you watching along, we actually had a regenerate thing here. They want to have a competitive edge, etc. But also the mentality of these prospects is, they're going to have had past failures in the past. So they're going to have worked with tools that weren't flexible, that weren't aligned with them. They might not have had insight into their systems like they had hoped. These same prospects, they're going to fear certain things, the financial risk, the high cost, change resistant. We know that that's always an issue. The reliability of the vendor, that's you in this case. And then they're going to be suspicious, right? Their suspicions are going to be, is this too good to be true? Is it really going to save me time? Is it going to be a hassle to implement? And what if it doesn't work? And then the enemies, right? These are all the psychological things that your marketing folks are doing behind the scenes is they're going to be, talking about status quo, budget constraints, internal politics, short-term thinking. So those are all the kind of things that are going on before we get rolling with a project that you want to do. And again, this is the outbound email sequence. So the next thing it's doing is it is going to create kind of a brand story, which if you're familiar with that, that's essentially the scenario that most all stories follow, which is the idea that a hero goes on a journey, they're trying to overcome an obstacle, they transform along the way, etc. This is where most of our stories in Hollywood are based, and we can apply that to business. That's what our AI is doing right now. It's talking about the character, which is the hero. In this case, that's our target audience of financial executives, CFOs, and decision makers at those mid-sized packaged goods companies. They're under pressure to optimize cash flow and maintain operational efficiency. They're working in a competitive market. They've got a problem. Inefficient cash flow, right? They're frustrated by this and they feel like financial management should help empower business, not hold them back, right? This is what, again, is going on in the journey of your customer. So they have a problem. Sorry, we already talked about that. They meet a guide. That's you, right? And they're looking for a trusted partner, right? And who has empathy and authority. That partner is going to give them a plan, right? Which is maybe book a discovery call, implement a solution, unlock that cash flow. And that leads them to taking an action, which is book that call today. This helps them avoid failure, which is cash flow bottlenecks, losing opportunities because of tied up working capital, et cetera. And this ends in success, which is being able to streamline your cash flow. Hopefully that those of you who are following along can kind of see the thinking behind this, right? This is how you go deeper than just make me an email, right? You build something that's going to ask questions and use proven frameworks to get there. So now that we have this, psychological profile and we have sort of a brand story, we're going to send this over to our copywriters, right? And our copywriters in this case are going to draft a first round of these emails. Let's see how they do for us. They're thinking about it right now. Da, da, da.
They think a lot faster than we do, though.
There they go. Oh, no, they're having some issues here. Okay.
It happens.
Yes, and it happens to us, as humans as well.
That's right. But look how much faster they're still working than we usually do.
Oh my gosh, right? Okay, so what they're asking us now is, okay, well, I can create an email sequence, no problem, to help book more appointments with your ideal customers. How many do you want and over what period of time? We're not going to keep you guys all day, so we're going to ask for 3 emails in 10 days, let's say, right? Everybody kind of has their own cadence of what's appropriate, but we're going to go with this just as a place to start, but keep in mind you could say anything. So it's going to go ahead and do a first draft. What you're not necessarily seeing or recognizing is that this draft, because of the way that we've built the tool, is really drawing in on the best of, direct response, the best practices of, the experts over time and things like that to kind of craft something that relates to your business. And this is really the key point, is that when you're using AI, you're going to want to call on the experts who have been through what you want and successfully, and call on them sort of in a global sense to be able to, weigh in on the decision of the output that you want. And that's kind of what we've done behind the scenes on this. So in this case, it's created, I've given enough time to create 3 emails. The first one says, unlock hidden cash flow in 30 days. And then it talks about managing cash flow in the packaged goods industry isn't easy. You've got outdated systems, manual processes, and tight margins can tie up working capital and slow down growth. Again, I want to pause right here because it has recognized the problem specifically of a packaged goods company as it relates to what I'm trying to sell and tied it right in. This level of personalization is already about, 10 times ahead of what we average see in our personalization that I'm sure you've all seen, where it's like, hello, first name, and then it has I see that you are fill in the blank name at fill in the blank company, and then goes off to a bunch of things. This is already next level personalization, and this is the type of thing that as salespeople, you need to do at scale to be able to get attention along the way. So it's going on to say, our software helps companies like yours unlock working capital faster than before. Then it has some nice little done marks that say, here's how we do it. Real-time cash flow visibility, seamless integration, results in 30 days, or whatever it is. Now, the point is with this, and it ends with a call to action, are you ready to see how it works? The idea with this is that I gave this tool one line about, the problem I was trying to overcome. AI will give you a much better, much more precise response if you've actually done things already, like give it your brand voice, give it a more robust overview of your company and its product benefits and a little bit deeper information, right? And like how fast you can see results or whatever it is. All of those things once you sort of have dropped that in one time, is going to help it to make this even more customized and personalized for you and your business. So, we wanted to demonstrate it this way on purpose of like, this is kind of like the low bar of what you need to give it to get something from it. So our second email here, day 4, says, is cash flow holding your business back, right? When it comes to managing cash flow, are you relying on spreadsheets to track working capital? Are you stuck with outdated systems that create more bottlenecks than solutions? Are you worried that cash flow issues are slowing down your growth? If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Most packaged goods companies face similar challenges. Our fintech solution solves that. We help you, and then it gives a bunch of things. It asks again for the call to action. And then our third email on day 10 says, mid-sized CPG companies are unlocking millions. Here's how. Again, says, hi, first name, mid-sized packaged goods companies just like yours are using our fintech software to unlock millions in cash flow tied up, gain full financial visibility to make decisions faster, automate cash flow processes, and reduce manual work. The result? More working capital to invest in growth, innovation, opportunities that manage most. And then again, ask for the CTA. If cash flow management is holding you back, let's fix it. Okay, so these are all, reasonably good as a copywriter, I would say, on this first round. But what we recognize with this is that in an agency scenario, usually your first draft is not the final draft that goes to a client, and rather it's going to go back and someone else is going to look at it and make suggestions. So in this step, this is actually being reviewed at someone at a higher level, a creative director who's going to make suggestions on how to make it better. And it's actually going through and making these suggestions now, such as revising the opening to be more direct and customer focused. On this first one, it's suggesting, companies like yours have unlocked millions in working capital, and it only took 30 days. Our B2B fintech software automates cash flow processes, eliminates manual bottlenecks, and provides your working capital puts your working capital to work where it matters most. On the second email, it's suggesting that instead of multiple pain points, that we list the biggest frustration and focus on that, which is tied up cash flow restricts your growth. Right? And then simplifies the CTA. On the third one, it wants to make the subject line more urgent and intriguing. And so it's also suggesting to adjust the tone to better go with your ideal customer psychology. And this is more leaning onto the dreams of operational efficiency while subtly addressing the fears. And so it's making some suggestions on that and saying, hey, do you want me to send that back to your copywriter? And I say, yes, I would. It's going to output this update for us now. And with those edits, and at this point, you're basically going to be far enough along that you can grab these and drop them into whatever nurture software or software you're using to send nurtures, or send them out individually if that's part of your cadence, like an SDR. But the point is, this all got done, quickly and efficiently in about, 10 minutes or so, right, Sherry?
Yeah.
And in this case, all you really need to do is going to need to be to put in that email address and, if you're sending it one-on-one, do the first name part of it. So the last thing it's doing here, it's suggesting like, hey, if you worked with an agency directly on doing this, it's probably going to take them about 60 hours. And that's for everybody from the customer psychologist expert to the copywriter and the creative director and the expert. Which, would have cost you maybe $12,000, and we just did it together in about 10 minutes. So I'm not suggesting that you fire your agency today. What we are suggesting rather is that you understand what's possible. This was not any thing magic. This wasn't a tool that you have to pay for separately. This was a custom created GPT of kind of how you can build a little agency thing, but you just have to know how the process works to do that. And then you can run this anytime you want. And this is right inside of your existing tool. You know, in our case, we use OpenAI, but it doesn't matter if it's Claude or Copilot or anything else. The idea is that this knowledge is already inside the AI, and you just have to understand enough to understand how to unlock it. And that's where you start to see these massive improvements in your productivity gains.
Wow. If this was my first time seeing any kind of demo like this on AI, I think I'd be blown away, because I know I was the first time I saw it. And so for those of you out there that are dabbling or haven't even really tipped their toes in it yet, this hopefully has shown you the light for I need to get AI trained. It is a mind shift. And this is something Yvette and I talk about often, is that to understand how efficient AI is, you do have to shift your mind and say, how can I use AI today